My name's Jim Cogdill. I'm a businessman here in Modesto, and I've been involved with Community Hospice for about 15 years. I'm a donor, board member, volunteer, just been involved in a lot of different things with the organization. Yeah, a good friend of mine, Janice Lucero, who I knew through work, we'd become friends over the years, and I don't know, I guess she recognized something in me one day, and she just asked if I had an interest in serving on the Community Hospice Foundation board. Like a lot of people, I didn't know a whole lot about hospice at that time, but I'd always been raised, in my family, our parents raised myself and my siblings to be involved and to give back in church or other, worthwhile organizations. So I said, yeah, I'll consider it, and so I did, and I ended up looking into it a little more and submitted an application, was interviewed, and somehow they picked me. And this was, again, several years ago, probably 15 years ago or so, but I did my first, as I refer to it, tour of duty. At that time, I did 6 years, went through the executive positions, and ultimately was, I think we called it president at that time, we call it chair now, but I did that, termed off, was off a few years, was asked to come back, and I kind of jumped at the chance to do it. And so I'm in my second tour at this time, and I'm again a board member, again an officer, vice chair this year. I'll be chair next year. Well, I said initially I didn't really understand a whole lot about it. I knew they did good things, but as I got involved and really learned more about the organization, I really found out what they do and how broad-based our services are and how many lives we touch. And I just see it as such an important service for the communities in the Central Valley that I'm wholeheartedly behind it. I guess on a more personal note, and I often tell this story, I didn't really have a hospice story when I got involved, but I would soon. In fact, I have 3 very personal, 4, I guess, if you count another good friend of mine. But in 2011, we lost my father, and he was able to spend the last couple of days of his life out at the Alexander Cohen Hospice House, and that was a blessing. It was a fantastic way to say goodbye and a peaceful exit for him. But in 2015, we lost my mother, and she never was under hospice care. She passed before we could get her to that place, but I'd say the best thing that she received from hospice in her life was she was part of our bereavement services program after my dad passed. And that was great. She often said how much that meant to her. And then in 2017, we lost my brother Dave, and that was a real shock. 66 years old, he passed from pancreatic cancer. Community Hospice was there, almost from the diagnosis to the day he died. He was able to pass away at home with his family surrounding him, with hospice right there, taking care of as many needs as they could. So like I said, I didn't have a story when I started, but I have one now. And I'm very proud of that, and I'm very grateful that I'm a part of this organization. Well, from what I've seen, for living here for 35 years now, I don't know of any other organization that does what we do, or has the ability to do what we do. A lot of people have good intentions, and a lot of people would love to be as involved and serve as many as we do and be that active, but they just don't have the wherewithal. And we do, and we constantly push that envelope. I think that's one of the things I'm most proudest of, is this organization never rests. It never is comfortable or says, we're doing fine, that's enough. There's always more, there's always bigger goals to achieve. So I think that's why I believe it's so important, is there's just such a need in this valley. As we continue to grow, the population increases, demographics change, ethnicities change all the time, and we try to be on top of that and try to stay ahead of that and read those trends so that we can serve as many people as we can. And I think that's incredible. What I'd like to see us continue to do is, again, grow the numbers. That's kind of a given, and that's kind of a natural progression of things. But I really like the fact now that we're dealing with palliative care issues and working in that segment. Pediatrics is another, I believe, underserved area that, well, you talk about a tough one. Nobody wants to talk about that, let alone deal with it. And the people that do are just godsends. I mean, they're just amazing. And unfortunately, that's a need that we have, and I think will probably be increasing as just the population grows and changes. And I'd like to see us stay at the forefront of that, as we're trying to do. I'm very proud of this organization, and I say all the time that I find it one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. And Community Hospice has given me far more than I've ever given it. My goal is to try to even that up as best I can, but I don't see that ever happening. But I'm very proud to be a part of this group. I guess the final thing I'd like to say is if anybody's watching this video, has put up with it this long and listening to me, that they would, if they're considering being a part of this organization, that they would. If you're already active and you're thinking about getting more involved, please do. I don't think you'll ever regret a day that you've been a part of this group or worked towards the goals that we're working towards. And my name is Jim Cogdill. I definitely support this organization, and I want to wish everyone a happy 40th anniversary.